Alex Revell, not the result we wanted on Saturday, but the opportunity to bounce back straight away.
Yeah, that's how good football is. That you can bounce back. 3 days later. I think looking back at the game, the goals are big errors, I think, and I think the biggest thing that we've taken from that is that if you make a mistake or an error, someone has to try and bail the player out, and when it kind of becomes 1, 2, 3 and then a goal, you've got to make sure that doesn't happen, and I think that it's probably happened for a couple of goals now. And what you've got to make sure is if someone does do that, then you're there to help him and get it out and make sure you don't concede. So we've been through that this morning, because if you start a game and you're 2-0 down within 15 minutes, it becomes very, very tough, especially away from home, because the team closes the game out, and we've got to learn from that. You've got to bounce back, and we're going into a game now against a team that are in the top 6, and we've got to make sure that we put on a performance, because we owe it to everyone that travelled, we owe it to ourselves to make sure that we bounce back.
And we've seen in recent weeks on Saturday and against Exeter and Oxford, that kind of slow start where we find ourselves a goal down before we're really into the game. How do you combat that, and how do you work on that to avoid it?
Well, you have to go into a game. All the preparation you do in the week, it kind of doesn't go out the window, but it changes instantly, and that you can't have that. It's happened too often. You have to be accountable at times, and when you go over the white line, you have to make sure that doesn't happen. You have to start games right. You have to play the game in their half, and you build yourself into it. And if you feel like you're not kind of in the zone at that moment, you have to get in it. You have to work hard to make sure that you're in it, and that's how we have to start games. When you can see goals early, you're always on the back foot, and you have to work even harder it's hard enough having to score goals to win games, let alone trying to overcome already 1-0 down. But I think what the players they understand where we went wrong, and before Saturday we put in some really good performances, and I think that we should have won against Exeter, and I think that was probably my disappointment that we didn't win that game, and now we have to bounce back. That's the only thing you can do.
And we saw last time we lost, we saw the reaction from the players, and we enjoyed that small spell of good run. Now going forward, these players have got that character in them that you can. It's not the end of the world. You just got to keep them working and get back to it. Yeah,
you have to, because another game comes around so quickly. I think that, like I said earlier, if someone makes a mistake, you have to bail your mate out. That's what good teams do, and they don't concede in those moments where you might have spend some time in your own half or whatever that looks like. You don't concede, and you do everything you can to make sure that you're in the game. The games that we've won, we've had clean sheets. Clean sheets are so important, and I think looking back at last year, we kept so many that we were always in games. So we have to get back to that. And if you can cut out those errors, then obviously that will help. And then it's a desire and a real purpose to our game to make sure that you keep that clean sheet. It's a hard thing to do, but the reward is points on the board.
Looking at Northampton, the game is not getting much easier, but it's another club that you've enjoyed your time at, whereas Stevenage haven't really had the best of times in recent years there.
Yeah, no, I had a spell there, obviously, as a player, and really enjoyed my time there. But I think last year we played there in the cup, and we put on a really strong performance. I think, and lost on penalties. And but what's happened in the past, you can only change that. We've got to change that. We've got to change the result from Saturday. We've got good players. We've got a lot of injuries that are not helping the squad for competition in training, because you're going to up your game when you've got competition. For players that have played a lot of games, we need our squad, and unfortunately we're still not going to have those players back. So these players have got to make sure that when we turn up tomorrow, we put Saturday right. That's the only thing you can do. That's the only thing you can do, is make sure when you turn up tomorrow, you've got a real endeavour, a real focus on winning the game, because we want to be where they are. We're not, but we know that we've got the capabilities to do that, and we know that we've seen some really strong performances this year. And if we go and put in one of those really strong, confident, energetic, intense performances in, we know that we can go there and get a really positive result.
And looking at the Northampton side, we know they're a team that like to get the ball wide, they pile it into the box. How are you preparing for that test?
Well, you've got to win your first contacts. You've got to defend for your lives. That's what you have to do. But that's every game. That's the way that they play, and they're strong sides, physical side, and we've got to match that and go above that. You've got to defend your goal. A lot better than what we have done. But with like I said, you cut the errors out. You know, we should have been looking at that on Saturday, 0-0, and still in the game and going to show people how good we are, rather than being 2-0 down, and then obviously it's an uphill struggle from there. So stay in the game, clean sheets, show what it means to have a clean sheet as a group, as a team, and then on the flip side of that, go and stamp our authority on the game moving forward, get the forwards going in on goal, getting our 10s in the game, getting crosses in the box ourselves and attacking them like they, you know, with a real desire to go and win the game for us. And if we do that, then we'll all be happy at the end of the game, because we'll come away with a positive result. And
looking slightly further ahead, FA Cup draw yesterday, Milton Keynes away, another one of your former clubs. What do you think of the draw?
Well, it's a tough draw, isn't it? I think that you know, to go there, I think it's a local derby, which is great. It's a fantastic stadium for us all to go to. You know, I think that hopefully in the meantime, between now and then, we can pick up some really strong results and show how, you know, some really good performances. And then after that, you know, the FA Cup's a great day for everybody. It's something that we all look forward to. And like I say, in a derby game, FA Cup, something for everyone to look forward to. For the players to go and play against a team again that's from a league above and show that that's where they should be at. But we've got a lot of games between now and then, and we have to start winning games, and not only that, taking care of our performances both in and out of possession, and making sure that that we start picking up some results, because you know, the energy and the amount that everyone puts in to the club and at the minute in training, and that they deserve that, but we've got to go and show that on the grass.
And just finally, looking at the squad, Sam Tanubu became Stevenage's youngest ever player in the Football League on Saturday. But the bench is very young at the moment, and we've still got a lot of first teamers out. Yeah,
well, it's something that we've said, and you know, we never thought that we'd have this many injuries, and they're injuries that have either been chronic in terms of long term, or in game, that it's been a tackle or a muscle injury in game. So it is tough with those players out, but I thought Sam stepped in and showed his qualities in his time, and it was fantastic to get him on the pitch. I'd have much preferred to get him in there in a winning performance, because, you know, it as a reward for what he's doing, but he deserves to be there, and he's developed into a really fantastic human being. So we've got to make sure that we keep him going and keep him learning. And, you know, there's more players there. You know, Mackay Townsend West obviously on the bench, Finney Johnson on the bench. It's an opportunity for them. It's an opportunity for everyone at the academy that they see a light at the end of the tunnel, that there is a first team opportunity if they work hard, and then it'll be down to them when they get given the opportunity. So really pleased that he got on, because, you know, the club have spent a long time with him, and we're all happy that he's now the youngest player to play for the football club. But you know, hopefully next time he gets on the pitch, it's in a winning game, and we can celebrate together.
Brilliant, thank you very much.
Cheers.